The back half.
Welcome to the back half. I'm your host, Marty Wilson, and this show is for the person that has a mortgage, the title, premium health insurance, but occasionally we look around for a real adult in specific situations. The funny part is, it's you. This is what we like to call skilled adulting. It's the art of knowing what got you to the top won't necessarily help you in the back half of your life. Joining us today, it's just me. I am going to share with you how I reframed an event in my life, such as a layoff, into a period of pure exploration and remove the stigma of being unemployed or displaced from corporate America. So I'm going to be the adult in the room today and going to get really serious because adulting is something that we all do on a daily basis. We just don't really think about it. So let's jump right in. Society has trained us or groomed us to call this gap that we have when organizations decide that the employees within their companies are mere lines on a budget sheet, and they figure the best way to protect their profits or right size the performance of the organization is to reduce the number of employees they have. They generally call this a layoff. If you're more politically correct about it, you would say it's a workforce reduction initiative, which I very personally was calling this point in my career. But first things first, you probably didn't know that I was laid off. And let me give you the backstory on that. So it all started in October of 2025. And by trade, I am an executive assistant. The evening prior to the event happening, I happened to look at my calendar, my work calendar, and I noticed that there was a meeting on my schedule for 10:30 in the morning, 10 o'clock, 10:30, neither here nor there. And it was from my leader, but I noticed something that was odd. It was for a different location outside of his office. Now, because I have several years of experience as an executive assistant, I didn't know right off the bat what was going on, but I had heard murmurs about it. There was the annexing of a conference room and they frosting the glass in the conference room so people could not look in. There was the need to have everyone's HR or head count information so accurate that they did not have any mishaps or misunderstanding about where a person was situated in the organization. There was just quiet chatter throughout the organization about what was going to happen. There was this new word that had popped up in our new leader's tone and while he was communicating with us. The word is efficient. When I start hearing a company talking about how efficient they need to be, I know cuts are about to happen. This is what I know to be true. So, get back to the ranch. I saw that this meeting was on my calendar. I saw that it was not in my leader's office. So I knew at that moment that I was going to be let go. They had several rooms on the same floor blocked for the entire day. And if you are familiar with Outlook calendaring, you can see which person has the rooms blocked. It's just not a solid block. You can say this is for this time to this time. Maybe there's a gap in between, but there was a solid block on 4 rooms. So what I did, I went to bed that night and I understood that things would be different for me the very next day. And I wasn't going to allow the organization to blindside me. So what I did, I got up that morning and I took my duffel bag, to work and didn't even dress for the day. Didn't take my work bag, just had everything I needed so I can clear out my personal items. And I also had a gym locker that I needed to go and remove my stuff from. So I packed everything up. I said my goodbyes to those individuals around the organization. that I knew I wanted to say goodbye to or see you later. So I did all of that. And then I was called to the conference room. And when I got there was a weight that was lifted from me because I wasn't blindsided. I knew what was going on and I wasn't afraid of the next chapter in my life. So I walk into the room and it's, oh, we've been having these conversations. And when you see HR in the room with your leader, manager, whoever it is, always be ready because it's about to be something going on. So they're telling me, we've been having these difficult conversations, and right now it's been decided that your role will be eliminated. Okay. And I made very clear that I didn't want it to be a sad moment because it's my understanding that companies have to do what they need to do to be successful. It wasn't anything that I was doing that forced them to be here in this room with me telling me that I no longer will be employed with this organization. But this is where we were. And I took this as an opportunity to recalibrate and see what I was really passionate about in terms of where I would give my time professionally. So we go through that and, they ask the questions and, give us your badge and we'll send you the information about your severance package and all these things if you have any questions, yada, yada, yada. I don't really care about that because the weight that was lifted from me was that I already knew that me and this company were no longer aligned. And I had made a plan in my head that once bonus season passed, I was going to be boots on the ground to find me another place to land, another role. Because although it was a good fit, it wasn't what I needed. It wasn't what I thought it would be when I first came there at the start of my tenure with this company. So we went through all of that and they said, oh, don't worry, but we're going to have security walk you out. Better tell them to keep up because by the time the meeting was over, I had already booked a lift ride to meet me downstairs. And they said they would be there in 1 minute. Like I was hauling ass through hallways so I can get out. And they gave me a cushion for what I like to call my period of exploration. Because I wasn't going to go around and say, I was laid off, I was laid off, what happened to me, why did they pick me? Actually, I really didn't give a damn. Okay. What I appreciated most was that they gave me this opportunity to really figure out what my passion was. Is this something that I really wanted to do into the future? Was there something else I was interested in? And how do I move forward from here? But I didn't have to worry about having money because the severance offered was enough for me to keep up with what was coming up, what was happening, and all I really needed to do was, find another job. So that was in October. And when I got home, I realized that I just wanted to take a month off. That's all. I just wanted to take a month off and fully take a break because as cushy as people think my job is, it requires a lot of mental aerobics. Like I am mentally exhausted every day because the wheels on the bus go round and round. If you're an EA, you're figuring out what to do about this. How do we reschedule this item? These couple items need to be scheduled. I need to do expense reports. Somebody from this department needs me. The team needs this. Somebody needs catering. I'm just helping a random stranger. Another coworker needs me to help them. Let me just listen to the office, social hour, like being social in the space in the office. It's exhausting looking at things that you don't agree with, but you don't have a voice. And I think that was one of my main reasons why I knew we weren't aligned because in my previous experiences, I had never felt so small in a place. And not that I'm looking to be the star of the show, but I've always been given the opportunity to provide feedback, ask questions, and be recognized as a person that has a different outlook on things, different knowledge, and really curious. I'm a really curious person, but I'm also really in tune with what's going on in a community. And that was something that I didn't feel I had at that company. So that was my entire layoff story. I filed for unemployment in November. Filed for unemployment in November. And before I knew it, I was in December, and here we go. The machine was already working. I was applying for roles. I was receiving interviews. I had moved up to second round of interviews 3 times in December. So I was like, I probably won't even need unemployment. But also during this time, we're talking about the highest holiday period in, our culture. There's Thanksgiving, there's Christmas, New Year's, and then for everybody else, life just kind of moves on. But I have a birthday that's in January. So pretty much November, December, and January, I'm booked. Like I am booked. It's things that I want to do in January. This past January, I was supposed to go to Spain. I didn't go because of the uncertainty of being home if an interview is presented, being able to start a job if one of the interviews I had already completed, went through. So that was something that I took into consideration. And so I really wasn't taking finding another job seriously. But one thing I know how to do, I know how to get a job as an EA. That's what I know how to do. I've done it a couple times now. I mean, I have 10 years of experience in this, 10 plus years of experience in this role. So I know what to do to get a job, but I wanted the right opportunity. It was about the right opportunity at this point in my life. So, outside of this experience, I had lived through 3 other workforce reduction initiatives, 2 with really large companies and another with a national company. And I survived each of them. This was the first time I was ever impacted, and I understood how it felt to be on that side of the table. During the other experiences, I lived with survivor's guilt. And for once, I was saved from feeling like I had abandoned my colleagues that I had worked with. In one experience, I actually saw saw the list before the people even knew that they were being let go. So that was like, woo, it's too much. So this time, I won't say it felt good, but I didn't have the survivor's remorse. Survivor's remorse is horrible. Okay. So I didn't have that. And, I was determined that even in that exit interview, not to make it about the blame game of it all. I didn't want to blame anyone because I felt what I was planning to do was expedited. I was already planning to leave, and the plan that I had would have left me in the company until February or March of this year. So to say that I'm on track, yeah, I'm on track for what my plan was initially. I just didn't see that I would have that time to actually give myself a break from everything before I moved on to the next thing. Now, there were some conflicts in all this. I will not make it seem like this was hunky dory and I was having a good time. Conflict was I was grieving my routine. I was grieving being a part of collaborative efforts to reach some goal set by an organization. I miss those things. I miss just getting up in the morning, going to the gym, and then going over to work. I miss the camaraderie I had with my coworkers, and some of my coworkers that were impacted. We were friends. So, we kept in touch. We talked all the time, but it's not the same as when you come in every day and you're sitting at your desk and you all are sitting there talking, and we can all just really feed off of each other's energy and what's going on in the office. It's completely different when you're at home and you're starting bad habits that you probably shouldn't start, like staying up extremely late at night, or you're hanging out in the daytime. Like my thing was, I was hanging out in the daytime. I was doing all the things of homemakers. Like I was going to have my laundry washed and fold, and then I was going to play golf. I was going to museums in the middle of the day. Like this is shit that I probably should have started knowing that one day I have to go back to work. Like going out for lunch. Going out for lunch is it's like a dream of mine. Just like call your girlfriends and go to lunch in the middle of the week, not on Saturday and Sunday. Yeah, that's the type of stuff I aspire to do. I'm gonna miss this stuff when I finally do get back to work. talking to your friends all day on the phone. That doesn't work in the workforce. So some of these things they rear their ugly head, but it kept me sane. And then once the unemployment benefits started depositing into my account, $1,500 doesn't cover a fraction of my monthly overhead. At best, it was able to keep my phone on so I can find a job, keep the internet on so I can apply for a job, buy some food so I don't perish here, and, do something else. Do something else. So, what you start doing is you're chipping off of your savings, you're attempting to manage the resources they gave you in the severance so that you can still live, but once you see that number for the month and it is roughly 70% less than what you were bringing home, it's just at this point, it was a lunch money. It was lunch money. Like $1,500, I could spend that in entertainment per month. And that's going out to dinner and, buying tickets or things like that. I could spend that in entertainment. So that became a conflict. And then also just navigating the unemployment agency. I was like, what do you mean I have to go over to the Michigan Works office and register for work? I'm applying for jobs. What if I don't get a job through Michigan Works opportunity? Like, what are we doing? I never even applied for anything over there. I never even searched for anything over there. So why do I need to go and make a special trip over here? Like, it was so many frustrating things. That's why after I applied for the benefits, I was like, I have a job before I even get through all of this red tape. But I finally won my appeals and the money started coming in. And I'm saying the money started coming in like it's not even enough, but I'll take it. And then, it's all of the other conflicts that you have because there's the things that you were planning to do. And now I got to be a little more conservative with how I spend my money. And your friends around you, they're looking at you like, you got it good. You sitting at home. No, I'm not. I'm falling apart in here. I want to go to work. Like, yeah, we all laugh and joke about hitting the lottery and everything. But to hit the lottery, I would still find something to do where I can contribute to what's going on in the world. Like, if it's a humanitarian, even if it's a humanitarian effort, I am never just going to sit at home. And then I'll add this on top. And then when all of this went down, it was October. It's about to get fucking cold around here. So I had a couple days where I was able to play golf, but had they cranked this up in September, oh yeah, I probably wouldn't have felt it because I would have been playing so much golf, getting, aiming to get better, practice more. Like you let the whole season go away. Like it's almost Halloween when this went down. But yeah, that's another story. So, those were the things that I battled with. And I was just like, I can't be here like this. So the solution for the grief that I was feeling, the routine that I was out of, and not feeling like just another statistic in the 300,000 African American women that were displaced from corporate America, I renamed this era the period of exploration. And this required me to reclaim my brand, or not even reclaim it, reassess my brand and say, hey, this is who you are. This is what you can do so you can still feel like things are moving forward and don't get down on yourself. Because to be very honest, there are down days that you have in a layoff. It's, you want to do something, you want to have new experiences, and overall, you missed them dang on direct deposits hitting your bank account. Okay. You missed the health insurance. You become very careful in a period of exploration. You tiptoeing on ice in snow boots because you don't want to fall. You don't want to have an unexpected medical emergency. Before the insurance ran out, I made sure all of my medications were filled. I made sure all the work that they wanted me to have done, I made sure all of that was done, made sure I got my teeth clean because I don't care what was happening. My oral hygiene and my biological maintenance is still it still had to happen. It was going to happen no matter job, no job, selling plates out my front door. I'm going to make sure that I'm taking care of myself. So my solution was just refocus the energy on different things that gave me things to do. Like I'm a black girl. That's all we know. We know to stay busy. So I can't just be sitting up here looking at the TV all day, and I have had to end up getting a new TV because one of my TVs went out. But that's another story. So I began to focus on some different areas of my life where I was like, let me get some stuff in order. Like there were projects in my home that needed to be completed. Like this up here, I done lived here, this gallery wall up here. I have lived here almost 4 years. This wall was bare. Like wasn't nothing on this wall. It's a good wall too. And I bought this map here. It's a map here, city of Detroit, specific area that's near and dear to my heart. I bought this thing 2 years ago. Bought it 2 years ago from Throwbacks here in Detroit, which is they upcycle items from different construction or development projects that they're working on, and they bring it to the people. So I bought this 2 years ago when I was on lunch from work, and I had to put that thing in an Uber and bring it home with me. Those pictures, all of this, I've already had it, just never put it up on the wall. So I did that. I got involved with other projects that I needed to complete in my house. For the last couple years, I wanted to host a quarterly dinner party. I had my first dinner party when I was in this period of exploration. Absolutely love hosting. I'm really good at it. So I did that. Began to learn more about caviar consumption. That was something special and quite delicious, if I do say so myself. What else did I do? I focused on optimizing who I would be professionally. So this included when I was applying, yeah, there were a couple of big companies where the recruiter was basically on the line. Will you come to Auburn Hills? And it's hybrid. You can come here 4 days and work from home one day. And I'm like, no, because during this period, I found out that my passion has been and will continue to be supporting organizations that help author the positive perception of Detroit. I need to work in companies that support the community in which they reside. And the place that has my heart is Detroit, Michigan. And I want to be a part of that. In any supportive capacity that I can do that, that's what I was aiming for. So, getting all involved in chasing dollars because outside of the money, my commute range is extremely important because I just really want to catch my one bus to work, get off, go to the bus stop, catch my one bus back home. That's it. That's all I want to do. So those were important things to me. And I was given the time to define that for myself and for my next opportunity. The other thing was I didn't want to be batched in. I mean, I am batched in with those 300,000 plus women that were impacted and lost their employment last year. I didn't want that to be my story. I wanted my story to be that I took this opportunity and I went after what I truly wanted. That's what I wanted my story to be. So I just urge others who have been impacted or who are still going through this to focus on the little things. It's some little things like I think the most beautiful thing in all of this was the time that I got to spend with my friends and family because of the mental exhaustion from work. I tend to close myself off to people and experiences. So I'm gonna go to work, I'm gonna come home, I'm gonna shut the door. That's gonna be it. Like, it's no going to dinner. I'm not coming out to shake my tail. I'm not doing none of it. I don't even have to shake my tail. I'm not even coming out to sit in a booth and buy bottles. I'm not doing it. I just want to stay home. Everything is working here. I done said it a couple times. The Wi-Fi is good here. The snacks is here. The bathrooms are always clean here. So I'll stay home. And, that's one of the things that we don't really give a lot of attention to because we're focused on getting back to work. So I was able to cook in my house more often, unprovoked. Like, I can go in there and whip something up just based on what is in the refrigerator and the cupboards. But that's something that you can focus on. You can also focus on making sure what you're looking for isn't out of desperation. It's a want. You have to want to be somewhere and want to give your best work product to an organization. To have a job is one thing. To love what you do, that's something totally different. And I fully understand that because when I started out as an EA, I thought it was just for me to be a part of the team, investigate other teams that I wanted to be a part of. And I was 6 months in, I realized like, no, this my jam right here. I can do this. And I haven't looked back. And it's often shocking to some people because they feel like you can do so much more. I do so much that I'm not looking for any fanfare over that I feel fulfilled. So there's no need for me to be a director, a senior VP, the president of the United States. It's nothing like, if anything, I would rather be the EA to the CEO or the president of the United States, not this one. You know what I mean? You follow what I'm saying? That wouldn't bother me. So focus on the things that you've put off. Like I said, this wall should have been done 2 weeks after I bought this place. I had Ken in here painting the place, the whole place. I should have had all of this stuff completed. And it's just, I got to do this. I got to do this. I was able to get some projects completed that I had been putting off. Like, why? Why are we putting them off? Because I'm exhausted, so fucking tired. So now do those things. If you feel like you having a down day, see where creativity takes you. I got into reading more books and I'm actually studying the Constitution right now. So yeah, push yourself to just keep yourself busy. Keep yourself, if you're creative, be creative. I have another project that I'm working on. I done started this entire podcast while I've been off work. Like, push yourself. Push yourself to do something where you don't feel like you're just wasting away. That's one of the best pieces of advice I can give you at this point because I truly believe that it kept me, thinking over how I wanted it to look, how I wanted it to sound, what type of content I wanted to review or discuss on this show. That kept me in a creative wheel where I was still contributing, but I was contributing to my own ideas. So find those things that make you happy that you can do while you're waiting on your next opportunity to arrive. And then you also want to realize your worth. And when I say this, it's exactly what you hear I'm saying. There's no underlying reading between the lines. When I say determine your worth, I mean go to your search bar in whatever web browser you're using. Say, what is the salary range for a EA with 12 years experience working in the Metro Detroit area? Do it. Whatever your profession is, do it. I promise you, it will set you up for when you have those conversations with those opportunities that come up. It'll really set you up for not operating out of desperation, but from a space of value. Because once you know what your worth is, what you're worth in the professional ecosystem, you'll never let anybody lowball you again. And I had a couple companies lowball. One actually gave me a solid offer and I turned it down because I had already did the research. And I want to add this part because I felt this was really pivotal in my journey during this period of exploration. In the severance package, we were given, what do you call that when somebody helps you find another job? Outplacement services. That's what it is. So we were given outplacement services and it was with the organization. And I'm never going to drop the names of organizations or even the places that I've worked because that's not important. My experience is more important than the place that I had that experience with, okay, in this storytelling. But we had outplacement services. And the first coach, when I talked with them, I asked them, based on my resume, do you think I should apply for other opportunities? Because at that time, I was actually considering making a career change into operations management because I'm an EA. This is what we do. I'm helping the wheels go. I'm helping the engine hum. Okay. So I thought about that, and the coach told me during that conversation, we had one conversation. The coach said, I mean, you could do that, but if you want to get hired fast, you should just apply for an EA. And I got off that call and I was like, so what the fuck I need you for? I know how to get an EA role. So what do I need to talk to you for? You ain't doing nothing for me. And when they said that to me, I never talked to outplacement services again. I never did. I was like, I don't need them. Until it was, and I'm going to say her name because she really changed my thought process and truly helped me. But Amy called me one day and said, hey, I see that we haven't talked to you in a while. Let's set up an intro call. And I'm looking like, an intro call? I don't got nothing to say to y'all. So, but I did it. I did it anyway. And there was, even if it was just her professional way of doing things, I felt we developed a relationship where she understood me and I was open to receiving the information that she was giving to help me. So she walked me through and she was really impressed. She said, oh, wow. By the time I talked to her, I had second round interview with a large insurance company, a second round with a nonprofit, and a couple other interviews. And she was like, wow, you've already, yeah. So we don't need to get into resume writing. We don't need to get into job searching. I know how to do this. What she provided me was that information about worth, about reviewing organizations to see where they stand in the ecosystem, interview tips, because I did struggle with the tell me a little bit about yourself. And through my coaching with her, I gained more confidence. And I will say I'm probably a better interviewer today than I was when I first started this period of exploration. You know, I'm more confident in how I talk about my experiences from the past, experiences that I'm proud of, the STAR method, and results. Yeah. Don't tell me. I'll tell you the situation, what tactics I used, what actions I took to make sure that these results were what we were looking for. And I'm also very open about some people get nervous about talking about their mistakes. I'm even more comfortable talking about them because now I've identified the ones and why they are important to specific conversations. You need to see how I recover from something that could be a blunder. So I would say that when I talked to her, where I had wrote the outplacement services off, Amy totally brought me back on board. She single-handedly saved my review for that company because I was prepared to tell them they were trash when my program was over. I was prepared. Like even at our final meeting, she didn't have any time on her calendar. And I said, well, I sent her an email say, hey, I understand that's our last day. Just wanted to say thank you. And she extended herself to me to say, even though the calendar is full, just find some time in the following week because I would still like to talk to you. And she still gave me more resources, even at that point, because I still hadn't found a job. but she was still willing to help me, even though I was just another case or client in her log. And my time was over. The time that my former employer paid for me to be in this program, it was over. So I truly appreciated her for that. And I gave that story because sometimes at first you're so reluctant to the help that's out there, you have rejected it. Sometimes just maybe give it a second review, another look, a little further down the line. Sometimes it's not just right for you to do it as soon as, because here I am. I didn't talk to that lady until mid January. I had been off of work almost 3 months by that time. So, okay, what can she say to me? And she completely turned my entire experience around and helped me with a few things as I continue to look for my next role. So, yeah, absolutely. Now, am I still looking? Yes, but I'm also not allowing people to hold my time. So, if I don't hear back from a company, it's as simple as, can you provide me any additional updates on the progress on this role? And if not, it's truly been a pleasure speaking with you and learning more about the company. I have to cut ties because you can get caught up in a holding pattern waiting for a job. You can miss some more opportunities. Don't let these companies hold you up. Go on, let them know this is what it is. If either you have something to tell me or you don't, it's all good either way, but I have to keep going. So yeah, that's what I have to say about that. So with that, you all didn't think that I wouldn't have an unfiltered audit for myself just because it's just me. I can ask myself questions. And what I'll do is I'll read the question and I'm just going to look straight into the camera and give the answer straight off the top. I know the question. Matter of fact, I don't really know the question. I'm going to read the question and then I'll give you the answers. So, yeah. What's the first thing you'd cut and the first thing you'd invest in? The first thing I cut when this period started was I cut the gym. I cut the gym because the gym, as important as it is to me, I didn't want to set up a new membership because the last couple jobs I've had, they've had a corporate gym. So I was like, no, not doing it. And the gym had just opened down the street from me. And I was like, that would mean I would have to get out, get on the bus, go to the gym, all the things. And I was like, I'll be okay. First thing I invested in was hair care, a hairdo. I had already been off of work. So I got all my ends trimmed, got my hair braided, and then I went in and got a sew in. So what I was doing was I was securing that my hair would look presentable in the event that I had an interview. A lot of the interviews were virtual. So that's nothing. Wrap your hair up, show up, wrap it, curl it, whatever you need to do so your hair not just standing up all over your head and you trying to figure out what to do with your hair. That's what I invested in. So the first thing I cut was the gym. First thing I invested in was my hair. It was my appearance. Yeah. I mean, when you look good, you feel good. So yeah, that's what I did. What is the actual marketable equity you have left? Are you a title or are you a skill set? According to the research that I have on my specific role, I realized that I was being paid below market value. And when I opened my eyes to that, I was being paid $6,000 less than the average in this area. I was like, you lying to me. I had always considered that I was on the higher end of that thing, of that scale. So that was a lot to take in. Am am I a title or a skill set? I'm a skill set. As I said, I was considering going into operations management. EA is so many things in different places. In some places, it's the office manager. In other places, it's the executive support for an entire team. It's the front desk manager at another place. But that's not what I am. I am a strategic partner, meaning I have the tools to help you efficiently use your time, prioritize the initiatives that you have and provide a solid place for diplomacy. And that is because the EA generally becomes the sounding board for a team, external partners, internal teams that need to communicate. This is who the EA is. I am beyond the role. Even when they took me out of the workforce, I was still doing virtual assistance for several small businesses. So at this point, I'm not an EA, I'm a VA, but I'm still assistant. I know myself to be a servant leader. This is where I get my joy from. You got a goal and I can help you achieve it. All right, I'm cool. You got a dream. You want to just think through it with me? Okay, I'm cool with it. Let's get this thing up and running. But I don't need the limelight. I don't even need a title. This is what I do in my everyday life. My phone, which is not here with me, hasn't freaked me out yet, but my phone jumps all day with people asking me, what about this? What about this? What should I do about this? Tell me what you think about this. Should I be charging them? Yeah. Do I? No. Because it's just what I love to do. It's just who I am, period. Let's see. What are you holding on to simply because you've invested time in it? Is it a career path that no longer pays, or is it a dream company that's ghosting you? What are you holding on to simply because you've invested time in it? I don't think I'm holding on to anything just because I invested time in it. No, I don't. I was just thinking about, I have a few websites, but while I'm thinking about it, it may be time for me to let one go, my virtual assistant business, because as I get virtual assistants can only really work if you are fully established in the space and you're, working to acquire more money. When you're learning a new set of processes, a new organization, you really can't run that type of business. I shouldn't even say that because most of my client work is done before I even get to work or after I get home. So we ain't even gonna worry about that. I ain't holding on to it. I invested the time in it. It's there for those who can use my support or the support of someone with global experience to help them with their small business. There, I said it. Is it a career path that no longer pays? No, no. When I did the search on the salary range for my experience, no, it's paying. And I'm gonna be here for a while because it's gonna continue to pay. And I know how to do the job. Okay. I ain't going nowhere. I'm staying right here. I'm staying right in this swim lane right here. That's where I'll be. Yeah. Is there a dream company that's ghosting you? No. If you saw all of we decided to move with another candidate, we decided to move in another direction. Any company that I thought I wanted to work for, they sent one of those emails over. And those that did not, we are still we are still in talks. We are still, figuring it out. But a dream company, no, no, no. Where is the leak in your boat? What little luxuries are actually essential for your spirit? Is the leak in my boat is these subscriptions. Now I'm sitting in the house all day, but I still got my Apple TV, Netflix, Prime. I did cut off Paramount, Hulu. Who else? I think that might be HBO and Stars. That's 7 streaming networks. Did I say Prime? That's 7 streaming networks. And I still turn on the TV and be like, ain't nothing on. Like, that's the leak in my boat. I just looking at my hands. That's got to be at least $100. Well, the Stars comes out every 6 months. Either way it go, it's a leak in the boat, and I don't know if I'm ready to patch it. What little luxuries are actually essential for your life? Little luxuries that are essential for my life would be my foot care, my pedicures, my manicures. I have decided to stay away from them because every time I feel that I can trust somebody with my hands, they fuck my nails up. So no. But the pedicures, yes, it's a little thing, but it's essential for me because Yes, I can get all of the maintenance that I once would get when I was working, all the appointments. I can't do it all, but my feet not gonna be busted out here. That's not going. Who is in your foxhole? Okay, so this is about the people in your network. And when you are in this period of exploration, while you're out there applying for other roles and you're getting into, you're in the finalist stage of the process, they're going to start asking you for references. And I had to call on references from early on in my career all the way to my most recent. And these people, not one time said, no, I can't do it, or didn't respond to my text message. Everyone I text responded. Everyone I sent the message to responded. And even enough to say, hey, let me know when they'll be calling. Let me know what the opportunity is. I even had one former executive director reach out to me a couple days later and tell me, I really want to give a good reference for you. Like, he wanted to. He wanted to give me this reference. I reached out to the recruiter stating, I know that I gave you all of the references that you requested, but could you please just call him? Because I felt that he truly wanted to, contribute. And I haven't supported that man since 2021, but that's what he wanted to do for me. That was 5 years ago, and that's what I say. So the people that are in my foxhole, these are people that got to know me professionally. They respected me and the work product that I was putting out, and they were eager to speak on my behalf with organizations as they work to get to know me. So make sure that you have people in your corner. You do not want to call somebody and ask them for a reference and they're saying, I don't really know what type of work. I don't know if I can do that for you, please. Because at some point we got to stop using our friends as references to say, hey, I'm going to have them call you and just tell them that we were working together for 12 years and blah, 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 blah. I don't got time for that. I have real professionals that work with me at real companies and saw me do real work. So make sure you keep your references tight. The relationship is good. Build the relationships at these organizations, at these companies that you're working for, so that when the time comes, if you need to call on someone to speak about the type of employee you are, by all means, have somebody in the hopper. I was shocked. I hadn't gave a reference since it wasn't in this decade. I'll say that. The last question. Does your current daily schedule conflict? No. Does your current daily schedule reflect where your mindset is preparing you to go in 2027? Or are you just refreshing the inbox of your life? I believe my daily schedule reflects where I see my life going in 2027. I move with more purpose, more intention, and I don't think I have to question what I want to do moving forward. I know that it's an executive assistant. I know that it's my life's work to support others, and I believe that I'm set up for it in terms of my daily schedule. Been off of work for 5 months, and it's not too many mornings that get by me where I do not automatically wake up between 5 and 5:30. That's just who I am. I'm gonna get up. Now, what I do when I get up now is I'm either don't kill me. I'm either doom scrolling, I might read or watch TV. But hey, I'm up. So even if you email me, I can fire one off real fast. It's nothing for me to get up early. So yeah, and just set my day up. So I think my current schedule reflects where I'll be 2027. Yeah. So that is the end of my unfiltered audit. And I just want to say that, discussing this period of exploration, this really focuses on sometimes things happen with those opportunities and you're sent back to the drawing board. It's nothing to be ashamed of. It's nothing to, cry about. It has impacted if not all of us, but a good number of us. And if you haven't been impacted, that's even better because at least you are somewhere where you matter to them. You are still contributing to the goals of that organization and they see value in you. But, that was my take on a very sensitive topic during this time. And I'm here with everyone. So by no means do I want anyone to feel that a layoff or a period of exploration defines you, but it can definitely elevate you. And that's how you navigate the trade pillar of the back half without losing your mind or absorbing unwanted penalties because you have dipped into your 4K and removed all your money from your savings. I'm glad I was able to help you decode this undisclosed struggle. What they preached was go to school, get a good job so you could retire. Nobody ever told us about you could potentially be laid off and then you could be off for 5 months. Yeah, that's nowhere. But yeah, so you all know my socials. You can find me at Be Misunderstood or the Back Half Pod on Instagram. If any part of this show resonated with you, feel free to share it with a friend or watch it again. Watch it as many times as you need to. Until next time, remember the back half of life is your second act, and it doesn't have to start later. It can start right now. Until then, keep adulting. Just try to be a little more skilled this week. See y'all later.